Okay. So remember, generally in okay, so we have different types of values normally in any programming language. So let's say like you have something called number, okay, and you have something called a string. You have something called boolean. Okay, boolean means true or false and all. Okay, so normal type of values these are. And apart from that, there are few more values, something like symbol, which you cannot understand right now due to some dependencies. We have something called symbol. It is symbol. And we have something called null, something called undefined, something called big int. Okay, and we also have something called object. Like we have different types of values. But out of this, remember some of the types you may not be able to understand. Right now, you can understand only number, and you can understand the string, and you can understand boolean, and also you understand like big int and all. Whereas you can understand undefined also. Undefined means when you declare the variable, and if you don't assign the value to the variable, like if you don't initialize the variable, initialize in a sense, if you don't assign the value, it is normally called as a undefined. Okay. So like generally even in the previous class also I told that. So programming languages, there are something like strongly typed, we call it as strongly typed, and we have something like weakly typed languages. So we can categorize the programming languages into these two, strongly typed language and weakly typed language. So what is mean by strongly typed language is like Java is a strongly typed, and the C# is strongly typed, TypeScript also strongly typed, and Python is weakly typed language, JavaScript also weakly typed language. Then what it makes difference is what is mean by strongly typed and what is mean by weakly typed is, let's say like I have defined a variable here, right? So I have defined a variable, and for this variable, okay, so first I have assigned in number, right? So I have assigned the number. Okay. Now for this variable, age is a variable, I have declared the variable, but did I tell anywhere that it has to take only the number? Did I tell to JavaScript anywhere in this program, understand all the program here, observe all program? Is there any place where I told that it has to accept only number? No, right?
No, sir.
So I have not told to JavaScript that, no, you should accept only the number for this variable. I have not told. I just assigned the number. That's it. Now it has taken, and let us run. Okay, so see whether it will work or not. How do you run this? Node data types.ts. JS. Sorry, this file name is not case sensitive when you are giving here node command. Data types it is. Sorry, I have misspelled the file name. Okay. Yeah, so you can see that, yeah, it is giving the output. Okay. So similarly, let's say here I have age equal to, first I have given a number, then I'm assigning the string value. This is string value. Now, this is string value. Okay. Then again, I will print console.log of age. Console.log. Okay, age. Right. So now let me rerun this code and see whether it will accept the string or not. Yeah, you can see that. So now it is printing the number, and also it is printing the string. That means both the values, the same variable here, age, first it accepted number, then it accepted string also. Okay. And even I will go with other age equal to boolean, like I will give true or false. But that is boolean normally. Console.log age. Console.log age. Now let me rerun this code and see what will happen. Yeah. Now we can see that. Okay. Age, it printed number, string, and boolean. Now, what do you understand from this? Now, when I have defined a variable, there is no restriction of the type of the value for that variable, right? So whenever we are using variable in JavaScript, by default, that variable will accept all types of values. You cannot tell to the JavaScript, say that, hey, for this variable, you accept only number. For this variable, you accept only string, or like, okay, so only boolean. You cannot tell that. Okay, so JavaScript is weakly. This is what weakly type language means. In a weakly type language, for the variables, we will not set any data types. So every variable will accept every type of value. There is no restriction, say that, okay, no, this has to be only number. This has to be only, boolean, true or false. This has to be only string. So nothing like that. Okay, but in other languages now, like generally TypeScript or in Java or in C# and all, we will be telling like that. Okay, so we will be specifying the types and variables. We can ask the language, or you can ask the program to accept only particular type. Syntactically, TypeScript and JavaScript absolutely same. And then whatever you are writing in the TypeScript, that is also there in the JavaScript internally, except the data types. But in such case, then they could have directly modified the JavaScript in such a way, right? So to provide the data types, then why they have introduced one more language on top of the JavaScript? So when the TypeScript is internally JavaScript only, so why they have introduced it separately as a TypeScript? Then they should have directly updated JavaScript, right? So why they have introduced it like that? Because, okay, so it's because if they update the JavaScript directly, the people who are already using JavaScript earlier, right? Like, okay, so there were a lot of projects developed in the JavaScript already. So now if they start modifying the JavaScript, all the existing projects, whoever were using the JavaScript already, right? So they all will be affected again. Is the difference clear for everybody? What makes the difference between TypeScript and JavaScript? So from today onwards, then we will move to the TypeScript and every topic. Understand one point. Whenever we talk about the TypeScript, I also explain the JavaScript parallelly. That means that when I'm writing some code in the TypeScript, and now the same code in JavaScript, this is how it should be. So we'll move to the TypeScript. Okay, so we'll move to the TypeScript, and then we will start with TypeScript, and then further topics will be with TypeScript. This is just to understand the syntax. So far you understood very basics of JavaScript. What is meant by JavaScript? How do we write the JavaScript? And what is meant by a variable? How do you declare the variable? How do you assign the value to the variable? What is meant by a data type? Okay, so and what is a weakly typed language and strongly typed, and how to comments and all. So this is what we have learned so far. But now we have to move on. Okay, so now let's move on to TypeScript. Okay, so let us start with TypeScript. And in TypeScript, again, I'm not going to talk about a variable, same thing. TypeScript also JavaScript only. Okay, so now we need to configure TypeScript in everybody's machine. VS Code. So just open the current project only. We'll configure in the current project only. So we're like, so open the terminal. So you have to open the terminal. And for some people, it might throw error. That's why, I asked. So we will be running certain commands like npm init, type npm init. Okay. So whenever you run the command, I'm also sending you guys that command npm init -y to take default settings. Okay. So now whenever you create npm inity, it should create package.json. You see that package.json file. I sent the command for you also. Now try these commands on your own. Okay. Next, once you run that command, then you have to install TypeScript now. Okay. So then you have to say npm install -d. I will share this guys with you. TypeScript and ts node, and also you have to say at types /node. Okay, I did misspell. It has to be node. Then npx tsc -init. So now actually what happens is whenever last command I have also executed npx tsc and init, you see that there is another file created tsconfig. There should be two files created, package.json, tsconfig.json. Two files have to be created. Okay, so now with this TypeScript installation has been done. From tomorrow onwards, we'll be starting with the TypeScript. Okay, now.